Since the second Fran Brown stepped on campus at Syracuse, he's preached one main goal: bringing the Orange back to national relevance. Today was a chance to do just that. A season opener at an NFL stadium on a national stage. And well, the Orange just could not get it done. In the Aflac kickoff game against number 24 Tennessee, Syracuse fell by a final score of 45-26. We'll have all the reactions here on Orange Press Pass. We'll speak to our reporter Avin, who is live at Mercedes-Benz Stadium down in Atlanta. Don't go anywhere. We've got 30 minutes of Orange Press Pass coming up here on Citrus TV. Hey there, everyone, and welcome into our Citrus TV studio. I'm Gotkin alongside Dan Shalam and Milo Hoffman after Syracuse's loss in the season opener to Tennessee. Guys, everyone knew coming in that this was going to be a really tough game. Basically on the road against one of the blue bloods of college football. And Dan, at the end of the day, it wasn't Syracuse's day, but still, there's some positives that you can take away from this game.
Adam, you mentioned it. I think that this is a great start here for the Syracuse team, especially with how new this squad is. You look at a guy like Steve Angeli, who's making just his second ever collegiate start. He throws for over 270 yards, a couple of touchdowns in there as well. I was very impressed by his performance today. And overall, I think the Orange showed great fight against a top SEC team. I think this really tees you up here to get 2 easy wins and could set you up for some real success against Clemson in 3 weeks' time.
Yeah, I mean, you'd start with number 24 Tennessee. You go right into the depth of the season. But yeah, Syracuse has got some weapons to work with. You see Yasin Willis, who scored 3 touchdowns on the day, and Jonte Cook, the former 5-star recruit who transferred over from Texas. They've got some players that they can really give the ball to who are going to fill in for guys that they lost, like Quinn Allen, like Arondé Gadsden, and like Kyle McCord.
Well, those guys just gave a great synopsis of what went down in this game, but there's no better way to tell you what exactly happened than by showing you the highlights from Atlanta. The first game against an SEC opponent for the Orange since 2017 when they lost by 9 to LSU. Tennessee beat NC State by 41 last year, and they were rolling to get this game going. Peyton Lewis with a 2-yard touchdown run to cap off an 11-yard drive. And then Syracuse maybe with some momentum. Joey Aguilar, who led the NCAA in interceptions last year, fumbles it. Syracuse gets it back, but oh no. Right after that, Steve Angeli fumbles it himself, and the Colorado transfer, Colton Hood, takes it himself to the house, his first career touchdown. So that does it for the first quarter. Tennessee leads it 17-0. Not the start that Syracuse was hoping for in year 2 of the Fran Brown era. But hey, just 15 minutes, still a lot of game to go. Let's see what happens in the second. Deep throw from Aguilar to Brandon Staley, and he brings it in. Just straight up beats the true freshman DB, Demetrius Samuel. A 73-yard touchdown to put the Volunteers up 24-7. And then Syracuse finally got things going on offense. There's Jonte Cook, the Texas transfer. He had a career day on offense, a career high in yards and receptions. He's going to be a huge key for the Orange this season. Later on in the quarter, this is where Tennessee really piled on. They added that extra insurance. Big play there from Mike Matthews, the former 5-star, and then it's Deshaun Bishop who punches it in. He had an absolutely stellar day, averaged over 7 yards per carry. Tennessee leads at 31-14 at the half, and the second half did not start well for Syracuse. Just the second play and an interception on a tipped ball. Jeremiah Thielander brings it in. First pick of his career for Steve Angeli. And boy, not a good start to this second half. Syracuse did battle back a little bit though. As you can tell by the final score, they did not give up as the second half started. But at the end of the day, they just got dominated up front. You see here, Malachi James gets thrown to the ground. Not even close. He didn't have a chance to gain yards there. 7 tackles for losses for Tennessee. And then, oh yeah, they also had sacks as well. That time from the DB, Jalen McMurray. 5 sacks on the game from this Tennessee Volunteer defense. And then you see this offense once again. Star Thomas, one of the other running backs, the Volunteers going by committee, and he went 22 yards on this play for a first down. He had 92 yards on the game, and The final score, 45-26, guys. It was just a Tennessee demolition in terms of their offense and Syracuse not being able to stop it.
It's just not an experienced squad. There's not enough guys on the defense for Syracuse. You lose Milo, Justin Barron, Fadil Diggs. Those are guys you need if you want to compete with SEC competition. Syracuse didn't have it, and for me, I think the offense actually played a good game. They simply just didn't have a chance because the defense was just getting pummeled all day long.
I mean, you said it right there. SEC team right there, and Syracuse is coming over from the ACC conference, of course, a way superior conference in college football. So, Syracuse is going to have a challenge going against these top-level opponents, and it wasn't a great start today against Tennessee.
Not at all great start for Syracuse against Tennessee, but this is something that I think a lot of people maybe expected coming into this game. Not just because it was an SEC opponent, but because it was Tennessee. That's a fan base that took over Ohio Stadium in the playoff when they played there. We're now joined by Avin, our reporter who's there. Adam, how much of a Tennessee home game was this? Because everyone knows the Volunteers are one of the top brands in college football, and on TV it looks like they really proved that at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Apologize for some technical difficulties here. We do not have Adam. We'll try and get back to him soon. But until then, we are going to take a quick break. When we return, we've got a whole lot more to talk about. The season opener for Syracuse football. Year 2 of the Fran Brown era did not get going the way that the Orange would have hoped.
They took over my bedroom. Come on, come on. Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. Dad! You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Welcome back into Orange Press Pass. Adam Gotkin, Dan Shalam, Milo Hoffman breaking down Syracuse's 19-point loss to number 24 Tennessee in the season opener. And this is not the first day of the season for the other teams around campus. So before we talk some more about this game, let's take a look at what's happened around the Syracuse University campus. A very, very busy first week of action around this school. But actually, we're going to keep talking here for a little bit, guys. It's just fun to be back here, isn't it? Fun to have finally college athletics going once again.
Certainly, Adam. And a big team that I loved covering last year here for Citrus TV was field hockey, and they got off to a flying start yesterday. 15 Nothing. How about that? You can't ask for a better start, can you?
I mean, that's just incredible. And also a big shout out to Bo Von Kempen, a program record 6 goals in that game. But outside of that, there's a bunch of other contests for Syracuse athletics and a bunch of big chances for wins for a lot of these teams, Milo.
I'm looking at volleyball because if you guys remember correctly, last year started 12-0 and then went 3-16 to end out the season. So I think Syracuse volleyball, just for the heart rate of all those fans, you got to stay consistent throughout the season, not have it be black and then white.
Well, they're in action right now. Our reporter Ryan Croak is at the women's building covering that game. But there's also a bunch of college football going on around the country too. Of course, it wasn't just Syracuse and Tennessee that got going today. And how about that top left game? Number 1 Texas against number 3 Ohio State. And the home squad, the reigning national champion the Buckeyes got the victory, but Arch Manning cannot look good at all in that game. 1 touchdown, 1 interception, under 200 yards for the Manning. That's not what you expect.
Not at all. And he, if you look at the odds right now coming into the season, was the Heisman favorite. And that in no way is true here today against Ohio State. Just 1 touchdown. And really, Milo, I was not satisfied with his performance.
No, there's a lot of pressure on Arch Manning. Obviously, coming in was the top recruit 2 years ago. But what about Pittsburgh? 61-9? Are you kidding me? That's unbelievable.
I feel like that's maybe a little bit expected against Duquesne.
Yeah.
Something not expected. How about Florida State beating Alabama? I'm sure our reporter Adam Avin is not too happy about that. He's a Florida Gator fan, but we do have him back here to talk about Syracuse and Tennessee. I'm sure he was rooting for the Syracuse Orange in this one too, because of course Florida and Tennessee, pretty big rivals as well. But we now do finally have Adam back. And Adam, I asked you before, but we finally have you back again, so I'll ask you the same question. How much of a home game was this for Tennessee? It's only about a 3-hour drive for those fans.
Yeah, sorry guys, a little technical difficulties before. There's no Wi-Fi in this stadium because it is huge and it is the best venue I've ever been in my entire life. But look, yes, there were obviously a million Tennessee fans here in the building today. You know, Syracuse tried to travel with them, but the other shade of orange was just too strong. I think I lost you guys because I can no longer hear you in my ear. So I'm going to keep talking on this answer and then let you guys try and pivot live on air. But look, I'm going to keep talking until I know. I think we're trying to fix it right now. The camera moved, so I'm going to walk over here. Yes, it was a crazy game. There is a lot of stuff happening right now. But I'm trying to hear things in my ear right now. If you guys want to take a break and go to somebody else, then that's fine and come back to me later. I promise you I got a whole lot of information that I can give to you, all right?
Season opener for Syracuse football. It's the season opener for us as well. So unfortunately, we've got to say goodbye to Adam now, but we're going to continue to break down this game. And guys, you look at this one, and it's really not that much of a surprise of the reason why Syracuse lost this game, and that's because Tennessee just dominated them at the offensive line with their offense, and Syracuse just could really never hold on.
I don't think that you should be necessarily surprised that this happened whatsoever. Like Milo and I have already talked about, this is an SEC team. They're going to run it down your throat, and that's simply what they did all day long. Syracuse had no answer on the defensive side, and you want to tell me that a guy like Demetrius Samuel Jr., a freshman making his first start, is supposed to be tasked with stopping the Tennessee defense or Tennessee offense through the air? I mean, he got burned for a 75-yard play, and I'm not even mad about that. That just seems like he's not set up for success.
Yeah, I mean, also, he's 17 years old. I mean, this is absolutely unbelievable that he's even playing, and then he's starting in the opening game this week. But yeah, the defense just looked absolutely deflated. You lose guys like Marlo Wax. You lose guys like Fadil Diggs. Now in the NFL, of course, you're going to have to fill in for those big holes, and Fran Brown prided himself on being a defensive guy. It didn't really look like that today against the Volunteers.
No, it didn't. Just a really tough task for these DBs. Even though Fran Brown is a defensive backs coach at heart, just really couldn't do much to stop this Tennessee high-flying offense. And, you know, something else about this game is that it felt like whenever Syracuse did start to get some momentum back, Tennessee just dominated the game right away. You looked at those back-to-back fumbles, and really, Milo, that was one of the big difference makers in this game.
It started to become predictable at the end, honestly. When Syracuse would make a big play or maybe force a fumble, the Volunteers had an instant response to that. And you're not going to win games against a top 25 team in Tennessee like that if you keep giving them chances on the offensive side and on the defensive side. So Syracuse really needed to take that momentum and run with it, and they didn't do that today, and that's a main reason why Tennessee came away with this blowout win.
The thing that stood out to me the most and why Syracuse didn't come closer was they had a chance to go 2 for 1 at the end of the half, where they scored and then Tennessee would punch in a touchdown with 21 seconds left to go. Syracuse would get the ball back after that and then turn it over just 10 seconds into the third quarter. For me, that's the key moment where Syracuse lost this game, even though they came within 12 towards the end. If that goes a different way, I think we're telling a different story right now.
Definitely, and I think one of the big things that really was a common theme throughout a lot of these plays is that Tennessee was just the more athletic football team. They were bigger, they were faster, they were stronger, and that's not a surprise in a game like this. SEC against ACC, blue blood against a program that's trying to get back to national relevance, Dan.
No, not at all. I mean, again, I am not surprised by this. I know I sound like a broken record at this point, but I mean, Milo, when you look at this game and you look at a Syracuse team that has a brand new offense, a brand new defense, against an SEC squad against Tennessee, who had the second best defense in the country last season, top 30 in points per game, I knew it was no contest from the beginning, so I think that Syracuse has to take the positives from this and move on.
It wasn't all that bad, right? I mean, Syracuse did get blown out in the end, but it was really because of the battle in the trenches and the pressure was getting through for the Volunteers. Not a great way to start your Syracuse career if you're Steve Angeli. It seems like every time you look up, there's someone in burnt orange, as Fran Brown would say, coming right at you within 2 or 3 seconds. So the pressure was just coming. A lot of offensive line switches for Syracuse, and it showed today. And then, of course, on the defensive side, Syracuse just struggled to get pressure in the backfield.
Yeah, they couldn't get anything going, and the Tennessee defense just smothered them. 7 different players for 7 different tackles for loss. That did not set up Steve Angeli for success. And Adam, he got sacked 5 times in this game.
Yeah, just a really tough day for Steve Angeli. We spent a lot of time here talking about this Tennessee defense and how they were good in this Tennessee offense as well. It was really hard for us to pick a player of the game because, well, it was basically an entire team effort that got the Volunteers the victory. But out of everyone, it is Deshaun Bishop, the running back for the Volunteers, who is our player of the game. What a story he is, the Knoxville native, the former walk-on, and he had over 100 all-purpose yards in this game, multiple receptions, over 20 yards as a running back, and also broke one play loose for 40 yards. So because of that, Deshaun Bishop is our Orange Press Pass player of the game. Well, we're not done yet breaking down this one. The season opener for Syracuse did not go the way that the Orange would have hoped, and we've got some reactions from social media that we'll dive into, tell you whether we agree or disagree when we return.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
If you're buzzed and doing this, to make yourself feel okay to drive,
ZWX.
you're not okay to drive.
YGKLVW. Regular you.
Welcome back into our CitrusTV studio for Orange Press Pass. Adam Gotkin, Dan Shalam, Milo Hoffman with you after Syracuse's 19-point loss to number 24 Tennessee to get year 2 of the Fran Brown era underway. And guys, we've got a new segment here. Time to have some fun. Take your pick. Pretty simple. We'll give you a take and you pick whether you like it or you don't. I think that's a pretty fun game, so why not play it? Let's go.
Let's do it.
All right, so let's take your pick. Here's the tweet from David Kagi, I think. I don't know. I've seen this guy on Twitter a lot. Fun follow. But He says that Fran needs to do something about this defense. He can't identify an issue from last year and still have it be your biggest weakness this year. I don't think that this is necessarily too controversial, but what do you guys think about this take?
I disagree with this one for a couple of reasons. First off, you knew that Syracuse's defense was going to have trouble against Tennessee SEC squad first game. This defense is brand new. I don't know what Orange fans were necessarily expecting. You lose 3 of your best players and you want to have basically allow no points to Tennessee in the first half. That's unrealistic. I think that they did enough in the second half to show you that they're going to be good this season. We have to have a little bit of trust in this process here. It's the first game of the year. It's against Tennessee. It's the first half of the season. And they improved greatly in the second half.
I'm right there with you. I mean, what is Fran supposed to do? There's so many players who have left the program now. Some of those staples that we've already talked about on the Orange last season. So like we said, there's 17-year-olds starting for Syracuse. What is Fran Brown on the sideline supposed to do other than bring the energy, try to change the culture, which he's already done so well? I just don't understand blaming him in week number 1.
Yeah, and I'm going to disagree with you a little bit because I think that it's Fran Brown's job to decide who's on the field and who's not. I mean, he is the head football coach. You're also the general manager. But you know what? That's the whole point of this, is that we can disagree. And we've also got another thing that we're going to talk about here, another tweet for you guys. We actually have a CitrusTV alum, the wonderful Ashley Wenskowski. She thinks that Syracuse didn't show up to play football today. I mean, they did go down 17-0 to start this game, but they did battle back. So, we do have to say this was 52 minutes in, but what do you guys think?
I mean, this is another kind of ridiculous one, in my opinion, because Tennessee was just more ready. I think Syracuse was ready in that first half. It was a little bit ugly, to say the least. But like we said, in the second half, Syracuse started to get it going, and of course we're ready. Fran Brown is going to get his guys ready to play this game. In Tennessee, like we said, an SEC program that's just going to go out there and play really well. They're top 25, ranked number 24 to start out this season. So at the end of the day, Syracuse was ready. Tennessee, though, was just more ready.
Milo, I think that's my thing here as well, is that if you put Syracuse and Tennessee together, I don't think there's any world in which you think that Syracuse is leading at halftime. And then you look at the first 20 minutes of that second half, the Orange defense held Tennessee to under 90 yards, 3 punts, and the offense scored a couple of touchdowns as well. So it just took them a little bit to get into this game, but you can tell why they were outmatched from the start. Facing Tennessee, there's a clear skill difference. I think if they're playing an ACC team today, that they probably go out there and win it.
Here's the one thing I'll say to that, though. The last regular season game Syracuse played against top 10 Miami, they went down 21-0. And then they came back and won that game.
They had Kyle McCord.
They did have Kyle McCord. They did.
Leading passer.
It is. I got you guys. Different teams. So I'm actually surprised your guys' takes on these tweets, but we got someone else, hopefully, finally, to now ask his takes on this game. There he is, the wonderful Adam Avin, finally with us once again. Adam, give me your thoughts on this game.
I mean, come on. All right. Look, my opportunities at a live shot is exactly how this game went. Syracuse football today, guys. I mean, a disaster to start, hopefully pretty good at the end, all right? Let's talk about some of the positives for Syracuse to begin with, because there sure were a heck of a lot of negatives. Steve Angeli did play pretty well. At least that's how I thought. That's how a lot of people in here thought. He did, after a slow start and some costly turnovers, score and lead Syracuse down the field multiple times. I mean, this was a Syracuse offense that still scored 4 touchdowns against an SEC top 25 caliber program in one of the top premier places to play in the country against Tennessee, right? So you got to look at what Angeli did today in a positive light. He's going to go through the struggles, and now he has 2 opportunities to bounce back against UConn and against Colgate to try and put some points on the board and do what he does. Now, a lot about the negatives today was just how dominant that Tennessee offense was. Joey Aguilar really didn't miss a beat, and after being on the bench for a whole year at UCLA and swapping places with Nico Amaliava, I mean, boy, did he show up. Deshaun Bishop and Star Thomas, as well as the running backs and that O-line for Tennessee, just did it all for the Volunteers and the Syracuse D-line. And some of these guys who are getting their first reps as starters in Division I just really could not hang with guys who are pro-ready today. And Fran Brown said in his press conference after the game, oh boy, was Tennessee the more prepared team, and that's all it was to it. Yes, there were a lot of Tennessee fans in the building. Rocky Top was blasting throughout the whole game, but it was just one better team and one less experienced team, and ultimately that's what it came down to. Tennessee gets the win, and I'm signing off finally here in Atlanta.
Adam, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your time down south. I'll say this to everyone, go to Cookout for me and just enjoy it down there. But guys, I think he was basically right there. You could just tell you had a lot of NFL-ready guys in Tennessee against an ACC team in Syracuse that maybe just wasn't ready for it.
I mean, I think if you put last year's team against this Tennessee team, it's a totally different game. The Orange might even go out and win it. They showed that against Miami. But just like you mentioned, Adam, this is just a young squad. It's their first game together. This process is going to take some time.
Yeah, and Adam was talking about Aguilar, the starting quarterback. He said he did so well. He blew people away. I didn't actually think that he blew anyone away, really. I mean, he was solid. He did enough to get the win for Tennessee, but at the end of the day, Syracuse just didn't really live up to the standard that they're used to because coming off a 10-win season last year, of course, new players, but you want to start a little bit better than this.
Yeah, you do, but you know what? We're not done yet here on Orange Press Pass. We still got a little bit more to talk about. When we come back, we've got our favorite segment. Time for these guys to sound off and give their takes of the game.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Closing up shop here on Orange Press Pass, Adam Gotkin with Dan Shalam and Milo Hoffman after Syracuse falls to Tennessee 45-26 to get the season going. But, of course, this is just game number one. There's a whole lot of games moving forward for the Orange, and the next two going to be a lot easier for Syracuse. UConn and Colgate should be two wins, without a doubt.
That's softies for Syracuse, and if you remember the last time Colgate and Syracuse played, the Orange shut them out 65-0, so that should be a victory. Syracuse also took down UConn last year. I think it tees them up perfectly for Clemson.
Two absolutely must-wins for Syracuse. I mean, you got UConn, then you got Colgate, then it gets really tough again against number 4 Clemson, someone that I think actually could win the national championship. They have one of the deeper rosters in all of college football, but UConn and Colgate, you're back at the Dome coming up this weekend. You got to take a win.
Clemson's got a big one tonight against LSU. That should be fun to watch. But for now, we're going to keep talking Syracuse and close things out here on Orange Press Pass the way that we always do. It's time to sound off.
While the Orange might have lost by 19 today, there was a clear stud for Syracuse that's going to be a star all season long. That's got to be Yassine Willis. You look at this guy, he had 3 touchdowns today, was basically hovering behind LaQuinn Allen for all of last season, and now finally gets to be in the starter role, and he seems like he's going to be the guy for Syracuse. For me, I got flashes of last season of when LaQuinn Allen went to UNLV and won the game for the Orange, and while Syracuse might have not done the same thing against Tennessee down in Atlanta today, it seemed like Willis was carrying the offense for Syracuse all day long, and I'm even going to say this, I think that he could be better than LaQuinn Allen was last year for Syracuse. You want to talk about a star for the Orange offense, that is Yassine Willis, and they need to use him as much as possible going forward.
Now, Fran Brown had an incredibly successful first year with Syracuse. He won 10 games, and so I think Fran Brown is also going to have a successful second year as the Syracuse head football coach because, listen, Fran Brown has come over here from Georgia, and he's absolutely changed the culture. It's a program again. Syracuse is a team that people actually want to watch. You're playing in the Aflac kickoff game, so if Syracuse finishes around 500, maybe a 6-6 record, that's a successful year for Fran Brown, because what else is he supposed to do? He's lost his starting quarterback. He's lost his tight end. Fran Brown's going to be good again this year for Syracuse.
Well, when we see you again here on Orange Press Pass, it will be a week from today. Next Saturday, Syracuse takes on UConn at noon. Orange Press Pass, we will speak to you at 4:30 p.m. We thank you all so much for tuning in to the first Orange Press Pass of the 2025 football season. Unfortunately, a loss for the Orange, but they'll look to bounce back and try and get back into the win column and get their first victory of the season next Saturday against the UConn Huskies. Well, for my analysts, Dan Shalam and Milo Hoffman, my reporter, Avin, I'm Adam Gotkin saying so long and have a great rest of your day.